Alrighty, people. We are going to be looking again at solving by elimination. We've already seen some basic stuff done in class, like this question here. And because we are trying, the goal, of course, is to eliminate one variable. And in this case, you want to select the variable where the coefficients are the same, and you're either going to add or subtract them, whatever turns that variable into 0 or eliminates it by making the coefficients add up to 0. In this case, I'm going to subtract both of those, because I subtract the two y's. 2y minus 2y is 0 because they have the same sign, so I want to subtract them. So I'm going to do that. And remember, you're subtracting all of them, right? Every single term. So 4x minus x is 3x, and then 2y minus 2y, of course, is 0, and 7 minus 11 is negative 4. And then you're just left with a very simple equation. You just divide both sides here to solve for x. You divide both sides by 3, and you get x equals negative 4 over 3. Okay? And then you can plug that in to one of the other equations to solve for y. We've done that lots of times. I'm not going to do that for you now. So that's easy enough. Let's just do one other one like that. So like y plus x equals 10 and 2y minus x equals 3. Again, the coefficient of x is the same for both of them. It's 1, positive 1 and negative 1, mind you. And so for these ones, if I add them, then the ones plus 1 minus 1 will equal to 0. So these ones here, I just want to add them. And again, the goal is always the same, to just eliminate one of the variables. And so y plus 2y is going to give me 3y. And then x plus negative x is 0. 10 plus 3 is 13, and there's again a very simple equation. We just divide both sides by 3, y equals 13 over 3, and just leave it as a fraction like that. You don't need to do anything with the variables. Now you can plug this in to, again, plug it in up here and solve for y that, or solve for x that way rather. Nothing wrong with that. But I can also solve these equations by eliminating the other variable by doing a different trick that I'm going to show you right now. So if we start with the same equation, but let's say instead of eliminating the x, I wanted to eliminate the y, and this is another way of solving for the other variable, is to eliminate the other one. I can actually get rid of the y's here. You'll notice though that the coefficients are different, but as we know, we can multiply an equation, every term in an equation, by a constant, and the equation stays the same. So in other words, if I multiply everything in the top equation by 2, so 2y plus 2x equals 20, that's the same equation. I haven't changed anything. But now I can subtract these equations, and that gets rid of the y term. So if I subtract those, I go 2y minus 2y is 0. And then 2x minus negative x is the same as 2x plus x, so that's 3x, equals 20 minus 3 is 17, and then x is simply 17 over 3. So that's another way to get what the x is. I could have substituted up to this equation and got x equals 17 over 3, or I eliminate the y and get x equals 17 over 3. Both work. I kind of did that in the example in class today as well. Okay, well here's another one. What I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and decide, are you going to eliminate the x's or the y's? Okay, if you want to eliminate the x's, then you take the bottom one, multiply everything by 6, and then subtract. If you want to eliminate the y's, you're going to multiply the top equation by 3, and then you're going to add the two equations together. Do one of those, and then we'll compare answers, and I'll do it both ways for you so that we can find out the value for both x and y. So pause the video and I'll show you the answer in 3 seconds. Alright, well let's first of all look at getting rid of the x term. That is just the first equation written down in its original form. I'm going to write down the second equation, but where everything is multiplied by 6. Okay, and then I'm just going to subtract both equations from each other. Okay, and that's going to solve, get rid of the x variable, and it'll help me solve y. 6x minus 6x is 0. Y minus negative 18y is positive 19y, because subtracting a negative is like adding. And then 5 minus 60 is negative 55. So y equals negative 55 over 19. Okay, kind of an ugly number, but I didn't need a calculator. There's the exact answer. So, quit whining, in other words, right? So let's do the same thing with the x's on the other side, though, for those of you that did it that way, and we'll see what you got. So we're going to eliminate the y's on this one. So I'm going to multiply the top one by 3. And then I can just write the other equation in its original form down below. And now, because the y's have the same coefficient but opposite signs, I can just add these together. And by adding them together, it's going to eliminate the y term. So 18x plus x is 19x, and then 3y plus negative 3y is 0. 15 plus 10 is 25, so x equals 25 over 19. All right? And you could have solved it either way and then either substituted to solve for the other variable or just solved it both ways like I've shown here, and that'll get you both answers. They really don't take a lot of work to do it this way. Elimination is a very fast and very efficient way of solving these questions without doing a whole lot of fraction work. So this is a good thing. Okay, I think this one works out to be a whole number, an integer answer for you. Sorry. So if you want to take a moment, pause the video, and solve for both x and y in whatever way you choose to do, and I'll show you the answer in 3 seconds. All right, here we go. Let's start with eliminating the x's. I'm going to do that first because it's a bit more challenging, because I have to multiply both equations by a coefficient. I have to multiply the top equation by 4 and the bottom equation by 3. Okay, you can see that if I just multiply by the each equation by the other coefficient, that'll get rid of the x's. So I'll show you the top equation multiplied by 4 first. Okay, then I'm going to take the bottom equation and multiply it by 3. Okay, and so now my x's are the same, so then I can simply subtract these two equations from each other. 12x minus 12x is 0. 16y minus 36y is negative 20y. And 4 minus 84 is negative 80. Divide both sides by negative 20, and this equals to positive 4. Okay? If you wanted to plug in and solve for x, you could, but just in case you eliminated the y's instead, I'm going to show you what that would have looked like, or should have looked like. So we're going to multiply the top equation by 3. So 9x plus 12y equals 3. And then, of course, the bottom equation stays exactly the same. And now my y's have the same coefficient, so I can just simply, again, subtract these. 9x minus 4x is 5x, and 12y minus 12y is 0. 3 minus 28 is negative 25. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals negative 5. So my answer is negative 5, 4. That's the solution to the system. Okay? A lot easier than graphing, a lot easier than substitution, I think, and a little faster. So that's basically it. I just want to give you one last question, and this is going to be your homework question, which you're going to bring to me to class. All right, there is the system I'd like you to solve. Bring that to class next time we see each other. We'll go over it and work on some homework in class. See you then.